Hello, fellow overthinkers, parents, metalheads, and neurodiverse people of all ages and genders. I am Chris, and this is Breakdowns and Breakthroughs, and this is...
I am Mari.
Hi, Mari. As everyone knows, we are not very professional, are we, at doing this? This is just
Not
a
at all.
hobby, and with our hobby comes these little brats. One seems to be in my room at this moment in time. Oh. Hi. So, with that, Mari, what is our episode about?
Today we're going to talk about tiny humans and the massive emotional damage that comes with it.
So, tiny humans and massive emotional damage. Well, I can see where the correlation starts already. So, yeah. Do you want to start getting the podcast underway? Let's get this conversation discussed.
I'm going to start talking about social media and how parenthood is quite romanticized, especially, I believe that in our generation, the millennials, we always listen how wonderful it is to be a parent. And you have like advertising, you know what I mean? That is just the beautiful family. And
everybody's around the table, just like, can I have the butter, please, Mummy?
Oh, can I have some broccoli? When my broccoli is pretty much on my ceiling right now. You know what I mean?
My son doesn't want to eat broccoli.
Well, yeah, they don't normally say, "Oh, I don't want to eat that." They just throw it at you.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh." So yeah, it's comical. Not at the moment that you're living that, but
No.
yeah. I think that in general, it's being sold to me, in my youth-ish, isn't it? That parenting is magical and aesthetic, fulfilling of shit.
The thing is, Instagram has sold us with being a parent. It's sold us like it's all matching pajamas, and in actual reality, it's just it's
and that's why I wanted him here.
In actual fact, so Instagram has just sold us that it's all matching pajamas, but in actual fact, the reality is it's just mainly sleep deprivation and someone screaming for a banana every 2 minutes.
Screaming at you if you open the banana for them. How dare you? Yeah. So in reality, I would say that parenthood is exhaustion, overstimulation.
Yes.
Isolation.
Yes.
Guilt. Oh my God. Guilt. The guilt that I feel. And then plain survival mode. I asked for it, didn't I? I asked for it.
That's true. And again, another thing is, I mean, when you're a parent, especially if you've got 2 kids, or if I've just got the one, when everything just becomes silent, and then you're just wondering, what the hell is going on? It's like silence is just suspicion in parenthood, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you just think, my kids fight every 2 minutes, but then what are they doing? I can't hear anything. And then you just go into the next room, and the room is just a complete fucking state, and I don't know, someone's dead on the floor.
You have bodies hidden in this house. I'm joking. So, the silence in this house is definitely means trouble. And that happens mostly when I'm asleep and I decided to have a sleep in on a Saturday morning. And then when I come down to check the living room, I think I find everything that is in my fridge down on the floor. The packs.
That makes a lot of sense.
All the crumbs, all the pillows on the floor, wraps and everything. The plastic wraps and all that.
It's a complete mess.
It's complete chaos.
They are basically tiny, drunk dictators with sticky hands. That's all children are. But we love them, don't we? We love them to pieces.
Yeah. And so, that is the problem. So a little bit about me and a little bit about you. So I am a mother of twins and I'm divorced. So my the co-parent, he lives 2 hours drive from me and he only sees the kids twice a month. And normally one night. But we are flexible. We try to have a very friendly relationship, which we do. We support each other when we can. More me than him. But if you think about, I am 80%, 90% of the time parent, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and he has them for 10% of the time. So, yeah. What about you, Chris? What is your status when it comes to parenthood?
Well, I have this little guy here. I have just the one child. This is Isaac, formerly known as the Beast. He is 8 years old. He is autistic and he's a menace, but I love him dearly. I see him as often as I can, and I'm currently trying to see him more often. He lives with his mother, but he comes over to me for one night every other weekend. That is hopefully soon to change. Yeah.
But you do see him throughout the week as well, don't you?
I do see him throughout the week on evenings after school, correct. Yeah. We have a lot
Yeah.
of fun together, don't we, buddy? Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Anyway, so I'm going to bring some stats now. And this is according to the Marriage Foundation UK. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
79 couples, they do have dependent children and they are married.
Yeah.
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 And around 42% of marriage are projected to end in divorce in the UK.
Yeah.
42%.
That's a high percentage, but that's surely not to do with children, though, is it? I mean, surely there's a small percentage of it where it might be, but I mean, at the end of the day, we know that our divorces have got nothing to do with the kids.
I would say different. I think that if I had just one child or no children, most likely I would still be married.
Okay.
Yeah, because one of the things about my divorce and me deciding to split my family, if you call it, is that I got overwhelmed. I had so much on my plate. Obviously, I already had a lot on my plate before kids because he wasn't the person that was very helpful at home.
Mhm.
However, when you add another child, just one in the case normally, adds to the stress, but I think I could have handled it and still be married. However, having twins, it was even worse. And I got to a point where I just couldn't cope with it anymore.
Yeah.
And add your partner into the equation of someone that is not really involved into helping and keeping the cows clean and being with the kids. Their dad, when they were first born, he was scared of touching them because they were premature. So
I mean, to be fair, your ex was like the jolly green giant with like massive hands, and if they're
yeah.
like premature children, I mean, I would be pretty scared of touching them as well.
Well, yeah, but you need to think I had just given birth. I was, I think, 5 days in the hospital, and then when I was glad to be home, and it was everything on me. And he's not the most house trained, so he was feeding me pre-made food and bread and unhealthy foods. So I gained a lot of weight after I had kids. The house was constantly messy because I was trying to breastfeed. So you need to think that I understand his side, but let's look at my side. I understand that he was a little bit scared. I was scared too, but it needed to be done. The whole change nappies, breastfeed, burp, and then they poop again and they pee on you and all that stuff. So in the first few days, I was first time mom too. So yeah, it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm scared to touch the babies, but you're his father, you're their father. You can't just leave everything to the mum. So I was exhausted, I think for 3 months until I managed to sleep train them and then start sleeping throughout the night, which I know people say, oh, you're very lucky. I don't think I was very lucky. I think that I've done the hard part, which what did I do? I'm not saying that did this work for every child. Yeah, because that's very unfair. But for my children, thankfully, it worked. But I would put them in their crib because it was very on the side of my bed. And I put both of them on the same crib. So I would leave for 10 minutes and they would cry and scream for 10 minutes. But for them, 10 minutes is not a long time. But for me, listening to them screaming for 10 minutes, it was the worst. And it was very hard for me to do that. But I've done it.
The thing is with the kids screaming, as a first time parent, you obviously it's annoying. You hear the screaming, you hear the crying, and it's just constant and it just grates on you. But after a while, you just kind of become used to it.
Yeah, you get used to it.
It's the noise is just not noise anymore. It's just part of life. people that I know that have witnessed firsthand that don't have children, my son being noisy, and it really grates on them. They just couldn't cope with the amount of noise that he was making. But I mean, kids are kids, kids make noise. And when you're a parent and you have children and they're making all of this racket, it's just to you, it's just part of life. But to people without kids, people who are yet to experience that themselves, it's just an annoyance. And I can
Yeah.
understand from your perspective as a first time mother, when the kids are screaming for 10 minutes, yeah, it's going to be fucking annoying.
It wasn't annoying, funnily enough, for me, at least. This is my experience. It was heartbreaking because I wanted to protect them and I want to make them happy. So I just wanted to
Mm,
cuddle them. And for me to not do that, it took a lot from me to be able to sit and wait for 10 minutes. I know that normally 10 minutes is nothing, right? But 10 minutes of hearing your own child
yeah.
crying, it was very daunting to me. But after a few days that we were doing that, so I would wait for 10 minutes and come back, give them a cuddle, and then put them back again. And then they will cry until they actually fall asleep. A lot of people say that's cruel. I would say it was cruel to me more than anything on a selfish bit. But yeah, I remember the pain. It was a physical pain in my heart. It wasn't
Yeah.
annoyance. It was, I just want to save them. But it worked. And within a few days, they were sleeping. I would put them down and then they would sleep throughout the night, which was the best thing because I get to rest. Because they say, oh, sleep when the babies sleep. Fuck that shit. You have laundry to do. You have dishes to do. You have to cook. You have to clean the house. There's all these other things that you need to do. So I have a few questions for you. Why do you think that parents feel ashamed to admit that they are struggling?
Why do I think that parents feel ashamed to admit that they're struggling? I just think that it's because parenting is sold to us as something that we're supposed to handle. It's supposed to be like life. And when all of that becomes too much, it's very difficult to then just say, I'm struggling. Reproduction, having a child, it's supposed to be natural. We're supposed to be able to handle naturally, isn't it? And admitting struggling is just, at the end of the day, it's just admitting that you're failing. And nobody wants to admit that you're failing. And I think that's
Yeah.
the reason why parents are just ashamed to admit any sort of struggles, really.
I feel that society imposed that natural line
Mm,
of life. You do have to, you grow up and then you need to, I don't know, find a career at 18, which is pretty much impossible. At 18, I knew nothing. What I know now. I thought I was going to throw a whisk in the jar party in my house once I had my own house. Do you think
yeah.
that now I'm going to throw a whisk in the jar party here? Have you seen the video?
Oh,
People throwing up in the bathtub, breaking everything,
right. Okay.
sliding down the stairs. And it's like, I used
Yeah.
to say to my friends, I'm going to throw a whisk in the jar party in my house. As if,
Yeah.
never.
Well, you, yeah, you definitely won't be able to do that now.
God, no. I'm too no, I was too old at 18. I just didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then and then meet someone and then get married and then have children, isn't it? So this is what a society
Yeah.
expects of us. And I'm 41. I realized that it's just a bunch of bollocks. You know what I mean? Because it's bollocks. Not a question for you.
Okay.
Why do we only post cute moments online? Do you feel parents only post cute
Yeah,
moments?
they only post the cute moments because nobody really wants to post like all the arguments and all the sleepless nights. And I don't know why a child's crying because their banana's just broken in half. But yeah, nobody
You
wants
gluing
to.
that with,
Yeah.
with sellotape. Just put it back together.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody
Uh,
posts the emotional burnout, do they? Nobody posts the arguments or sleepless
no.
nights. 'Cause parenting online has just become heavily, heavily romanticized, and it's just all the nice, cute little baby sleeping moments. Does that little baby look cute? Or the little
Mm,
baby smiles where they just see daddy walking through the door and it's like, daddy! But nobody posts it when
yeah.
they're just like all the crying and the mother on the sofa just like, shut up!
I have a theory.
Yeah.
that back in the day when we were children, we didn't have internet, isn't it? Well,
Correct.
toddlers, I would say. I think we got internet, I was about 12 or something like that.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think our parents talked about the struggles, but I can see now a shift into the social media that millennials, we are talking about this stuff. We are posting this stuff. Like, haven't you seen like those kids? Sometimes there's a video of a kid with the mom is trying to paint the wall, and then he goes and shoots her in the back, and then she falls into into the paint, and then it gets all white, and then the sofa is all white, and you're like, I'm gonna murder you. Imagine. No, seriously, we laugh because we're seen as an outsider. But if I was that mother, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
children anymore. There is another video of that I saw the other day. I sent it to my mom, but because it was in Portuguese, so the dad start filming it with the two kids, and they one have the face all black up to here, and the other one all green with some red on his eyes, and then he goes like, "What have you done?" And they go like, "We wanted to scare mommy or something." All right, okay.
Yeah.
How did that go? Yeah, she got very scared, but it's not coming out. Then he does that with a hand full of blackness. And then the dad, okay, where did you get this paint from? Well, from the garage. It was there, just sitting around. Oh, did
Oh,
it say coral on
fucking
it? Yes, it did say coral. Well, you're gonna have to go to school like that. It's just like, what were you thinking? So
There's
yeah,
kids don't understand what type of paint it is. They see paint, they automatically think it's face paint. That's the whole point of being a child, though. You learn from your mistakes, and then you grow up and you kind of understand. So
well,
it's just you go from naivety to maturity, don't you?
yeah, I think that we millennials, we are bringing those things that was never told to us, because I never heard that I was difficult or my brother was difficult. I'm sure I was. Come on. I was the type of child that if I didn't get my way, I would cry and pass out. So my mom took me to the neurologist to see if something in my brain, because I would literally pass out. So dramatic. And then the neurologist said, no, you just need to spank. And then I will pass out and she'll start hitting me. And she was like, I'm not going to start hitting her when she's passed out. Doesn't feel
Yeah.
right. So she would tell me,
No,
I'm going to hit you
do
if
not
you
pass
pass
out.
out. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that our generation is starting to be more open about how hard it is. Even though you do have those YouTubers that is just have this perfect life and the perfect house and the perfect car and the perfect everything, when
Yeah.
things are actually not perfect at all. Yeah, so bringing about those YouTubes, I'm sure you heard it. There is a documentary on Netflix about this woman as well that actually was found to be child abusing her kids, but they were YouTube stars, and yeah, she would make them act for the camera constantly,
Oh
and
my
they
God.
hated it. Yeah. So with that in mind, is parenting culture now becoming more of a performance for
Yeah,
YouTube
it
and all
is.
that?
It's pressure to look like the perfect parent. It's instead of being like just an honest one. Everyone wants to look perfect. Everyone wants to bring their child up to be, I don't know, the next prime minister or whatever. But yeah, people see all these videos of parents doing everything with their kids, going to parks. It just brings up the parenting guilt, and it just puts a lot of pressure on parents' shoulders to become that parent that they've seen on a YouTube video or that parent that they've seen on a TikTok video. So yeah, parenting culture is definitely performative. It's just most of it is just acting out to the camera these days, especially all the stuff that they're posting online. Like
Yeah.
you've just mentioned just now, that woman that was just forcing their kids to act. It's not right.
No, it's not. And that's why there's that I try to keep my children away from social media as much as I can. I do have an Instagram, a personal Instagram where I do post pictures of my children, but that's
But
for
that's
family and
private.
friends. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
private. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, another thing I would like to bring is a lot of parents quietly grieve the version of themselves that they used to be before children. Did you feel that?
The loss of
Was
identity. Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, before I was a dad, I was a triathlete. I trained a lot in my 20s, cycling, running, swimming, gym. I just did all of that. And I did it to a point where it was basically my life.
Yeah.
I was training umpteenth hours a day, just going out for 100-mile bike rides, going out for half marathon runs. And then as soon as my son was born, I was 32 years old and I was still doing it. I still went out for bike rides, but it didn't seem like I wanted to do it as much because as soon as you become a dad, you want to first and foremost become a dad. And all of my training, all of the triathlon, all of the running just got put to one side. My bike rusted.
Yeah.
Everything on the bike just got all rusty. The pedals wouldn't turn because I hadn't used it for such a long time. Yeah, and all the runs that I used to go out on just completely stopped because you've got a child to look after now. You've brought a child into this world, and that person that you were before is not that person that you were before anymore because you then have to focus on this new person in your family. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, my experience was a little bit deeper than just that. Obviously, I had twins, it's really intense. But I think that the grief, because when the kids were born, I was like in this bliss, loved life. I loved them. I don't ever experience that kind of love. And I know this is very cliche and everybody says that, but the love that I felt when I came home from the hospital with the kids and the love that I still feel for them. But that in that moment it was like this bliss that I was living in. With time I started losing quite a bit more of myself. When they were about 3 years old, that's when I was deep depressed. I had no time for me. I was running the house, doing all the finances of the household, looking after the kids, trying to run a business. It was a mountain. It felt waking up in the morning like climbing a mountain. It was like I honestly woke up. I was doing therapy because my mental health was really, really bad at that time. And I was doing therapy. And then she said, Marilia, you are depressed. You have depression and you need antidepressants. And then once I start taking antidepressants, that's when I start remembering because I was such in the fuss, in this cloudness of depression that I couldn't
Yeah.
see who I was anymore. I completely lost who I was. Obviously, I still listen to metal and everything, but I listened to the old school metal. I wasn't doing the stuff that I did before, which was following the new bands, discovering new music. That's something that I loved. And it's something that is part of me.
Mm.
So I wasn't doing that anymore. It's something that was very big in my life before kids. And I wasn't going out. I wasn't meeting people. It was just kids, me and my ex-husband. And it's a constant. And in my relationship, my ex, he liked to be home. I'm the type of
No.
person that likes to be out and about
Traveling. Yeah.
or traveling. I'm the type of person that likes to live life instead of watching other people having fun on the TV. So I lost completely who I was. And after the divorce, it was hard. I still was very lost. But with time, not being in a relationship, it's kind of start bringing who I was back, dealing with everything on my own as well, because my ex moved to Harrogate from Leeds. So I was in Leeds on my own. So kind of discovering who I was and who I wanted to be as a mother as well. It was very deep that the losing of my identity was a big thing for me. And I think I wouldn't have it back if I hadn't gone through the divorce. So it was hardcore. But, it made who I am now, which is,
Yep.
I'm grateful for. A bit of stats here. 29% of parents say that being a parent is tiring all or most of the time. Only 20.
29.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 29.
They must be romanticizing their own lives.
Or maybe their children are not gremlins like mine.
Y
41% says parenting is stressful most of the time. So,
Yeah, that's quite
yeah.
high.
Yeah. I think that there is a big gap there when it comes to status and ethnicity as well. It's something that it could cause a difference because, for example, if I had raised my kids in Brazil, I have a village and a half there. I
Mm.
have aunts, uncles, grandma, family, massive and very hands-on. I know I'm white.
And you will not be stressed anymore because all of the stress will just be divided amongst all of your village.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
being in a country where I'm on my own without family, it makes it a hell lot harder. Yeah, a hell lot harder. And obviously, sometimes my mom comes, my aunt's going to come too, but still. It's still stressful, but when you do have a village, it makes a massive difference. So that's why I
Yeah.
brought ethnicity. Why? Because if you think about Asians, Africans, they are more united as a family. When
And British people are
British,
just out for themselves, really, aren't they? There's just everyone for themselves. Nobody wants help.
that's what I noticed because I moved from London to Leeds with my family, including my ex-husband, because I wanted to be closer to family. So we wanted to be closer to his family. He has a massive family. He's the seventh kid. So I thought, well, aunts, I'm going to be able to count with them. What? I think that we would see them twice a year. I think I would see my family through FaceTime and all that stuff, or family visiting from Portugal, because I have an aunt that lives in Portugal that
Yeah.
would come more often than his family would see my kids. Look at the difference of culture, right?
Yeah.
His family wasn't that bothered. My family was very hands on, even though they're in different countries. We went to Brazil for a couple of months. In the couple of months that we were in Brazil, my aunts would stay the night with my kids. So you would have a lot of help. Yeah. So back, mothers are significantly more likely than fathers to report high levels of daily stress. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, because I believe 100% that is doable, 50-50, but mothers still suffer more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to bring into here is career. I
Mm.
know you don't have Isaac, not even 50% of the time yet, but you are aiming to have him as much as you can. Is that right?
Eventually, that's what I want to get across. I'm a full-time worker, but I have spoken to my company. They can accommodate my needs in order to make that happen. So, I mean, at the end of the day, 50% is the main driver, the main goal. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I was going to bring, the career part of it. Me as a mum, I felt that my career, I had to reinvent it myself. I taught English as a second language for people that speaks Portuguese, but then again, that takes so much of my time, but that's one thing that I feel that the primary parent suffers because, like, for example, I was talking to you today, it's like, oh my god, shit, the kids don't have school on Monday, there is no holiday clubs, I need to work, and then you need to find last minute, and the money for
Mm.
this is absurd, especially for me that have twins. So I booked some holiday for the kids and so I can work. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like just booking. It was actually choosing the days and, oh, I need to work this day and I can take a holiday on this day. And in the end, it was £1,200 just for
Jesus Christ.
just so I can work,
Yeah.
so it's
Wow.
ridiculous. Yeah. It would, if I had just one child, it would be £600, which is still a lot, but
Mm.
it's way less than what I actually paid for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very hard for a single parent, the one that is the primary because when I do ask my co-parent to help me financially with that, he does pay child maintenance and everything. So what
Yeah.
he says to me is that is my bill and not his bill. So, in Brazil, we have a saying, you love the Brazilian sayings, Danya. We have a
I do.
saying. Yeah, I'm
Tastes
gonna give
like
you
your
another one.
butt.
Not that one. This one is you're gonna do a knot on a drop of water. You're gonna do a knot on a drop of water. That's how much you need to work to get things done. Yeah, I'm doing a
How?
knot on a.
Sorry, explain this to me, please,
I think
because I
that's
don't
the one
understand.
that would the British phrase would be is drawing blood from a rock.
You mean, all right, okay, yeah, blood from a stone, okay, I
You
get
got
that,
it.
but I don't understand how you would get. Oh,
How are
I
you gonna
can't, I
get blood
can't.
from a stone? You
How are
can't.
you gonna? Yeah, but I think it must be the way that you've just worded it. Whoa, what's the saying again?
You're gonna do a knot on a water drop?
Right, but that to me is like you're just gonna tie a knot in something and put it on water.
No, you're gonna Take the water drop and do a knot on it. It's impossible, right? It's the
Oh,
same as taking blood from a stone.
right. No, okay. Stupid fucking sayings.
You love it.
Stupid fucking sayings.
Yeah, you love it.
Let's move on.
Yeah, okay. Well, there is more stuff. There is about no personal time, and there is guilt for wanting a space. That consumes me
Yeah.
sometimes. That guilt for wanting a space. I want space. Like, just get the fuck out of me. They're on
Mm,
me all the time. And it's
yeah.
just like, just leave me alone. I'm not sofa.
Yeah. I am not a piece of furniture.
I'm not.
Sometimes Isaac would use me as a climbing frame. He already has today, and he probably will again at some point. He'll probably sneak in, I don't know, 5 minutes time and use me as a climbing frame again because that's what he does. Because he's an annoying little beast.
Yeah. Emotional point here. You can love your kids deeply and still miss who you were before them.
Yeah, definitely. So
Well,
you've
fathers also struggle, but they feel emotionally invisible in the relationship. Do you agree with that, Chris?
do agree with that. Yeah, I mean, from my own personal perspective, I'm divorced and I've given the option to my ex-wife. I am a secondary parent. I can be called upon whenever to be there for Isaac. However, she would rather call upon the grandparents over me. So I am technically I'm just invisible. I'm just basically to her, I'm just a carer on the days that we have set between ourselves. So yeah, I think fathers technically are invisible, and it's everyone seems to think it's just the mothers looking after them, and the fathers are there just to provide. I mean, yes, fair enough. That was maybe the case
50 years
fucking
ago.
100. Yeah, that might have been the case, but unfortunately now, I mean, times have changed and fathers just want to be more involved. You've got a lot of fathers protesting, a lot of fathers going through court, fighting, just to even see their child more. And I'm one of them.
Yeah. I think that we lived different breakups because for me it was more the other way around. I wanted the father of my children to spend more time with them when he plain refused to do 50-50.
Yeah.
He moved himself away from the family house. He could have got a house close to us to be closer to the children, but he decided to go and move back to his hometown, to be closer to his family, which is fair enough, but that meant he was away from his children. And I have tried to get him to be with the children more when he plain refused. I'm not going to abandon my kids. I don't know.
No.
They're kind of convincing me now. They can be very convincing. Another thing as well that I found interesting on my research is that between 80 to 10% of fathers, they experience postnatal depression, which is
Right.
a real thing.
Hello, everyone. It's me. Right, so we've unfortunately going to have to stop and make this a two-parter. Not because we've run out of stories about tiny humans causing emotional damage, but it's quite the opposite. Because every parent knows the moment you sit down to do something important, a child suddenly appears needing a snack, needs a charger for his iPad, needs help finding a shoe, or an emotional support because their toast was cut into squares and not triangles, or the crust wasn't cut off altogether. So we're hitting pause on this episode, and we'll be back soon with part 2. If you're enjoying part 1, stay tuned. Next week, part 2 will be out. In the meantime, if you're a parent and you've ever hidden in the kitchen pretending to make a cup of tea just to get 30 seconds of peace, we see you, and we'll see you again in part 2.